Welcome to Nonprofit Network, powered by Stokes Auction Group. We are a group of fundraising professionals that specialize in raising funds to improve communities of all sizes. Hello and welcome to our podcast. We are here to talk everything fundraising. This is the Nonprofit Network powered by Stokes Auction Group. My name is Shelby Stokes.
Kelly Schenfeld.
Paulie Schenfeld here. Hello, fellow fundraiser fanatics.
Fellow fundraiser fanatics. Gosh, that sounds
fantastic.
So good. Absolutely fantastic. We're recording in an MP4 format, and we're real excited about it.
Juiced about it.
Excited about it. We solved some technical issues before. You remember when you were cheering and you're like, what happened?
Oh, yeah, that was it.
Never mind. Okay.
Yeah, no.
We fixed it.
We did. So I brought some questions today. It's my day for questions.
It is your day.
Okay, it's my day for questions. So about 3 questions, and maybe we'll just make one up at some point. Okay. So these are all like entertainment based, right? We're kind of in an entertainment type industry. You know, we are in front of crowds. We're putting on a little bit of a show. So these are all like kind of entertainment focused questions. Okay.
Cut.
So.
Okay.
So as an entertainer, what is your favorite piece of advice that was ever received?
Ooh, that was given to us.
That was given to you when you started, or when you were trying to chase this career. And it can be more general. It doesn't have to be just in the mind of an entertainer too, but your one piece of advice that you always go back to that resonates with you.
That somebody gave us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's easy for me.
It is me too.
Because it stuck.
Did it?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay, go.
Okay, the anticipation is done. What is it?
It spit your gum out and do not be chewing gum when you're in front of people.
Really?
And it came from a lady that was about 85 years old. She goes like this to me. Sweetie, go kneel down. I think she's going to say something great like, I want to give $10,000. She goes, you need to spit that gum out. It's rude to be chewing in front of a bunch of people.
Oh man, that is awesome.
Mortified.
I bet you
I didn't know what to do.
You probably went, yes, ma'am.
I went back and I spit it out, and then I came back to her a couple items later, and my heart's still beating fast, and I said, thank you so much for that. And I have never forgotten that. That was probably about 16 years ago.
Huh.
Oh, man.
And still to this day, huh?
Man,
to this day, I won't, like, if I'm giving, if I'm training bid spotters or talking, no gum.
Wow.
It's just the way she did it, Sweetie. I'm like,
Sweetie.
Yeah.
I remember being, starting out and trying to find my way. Mm-hmm. And I kept finding that I was focused on the 3 or 4 guys who I admired very, very much. And I tried to be like them. Mm-hmm. If I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna be just like them, just like him, I'm gonna take all 4 of those guys and meld them into one. And then somebody told me, be yourself, be you. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it's not gonna come across as genuine. It's going to look scripted. It's going to look fake. It's going to not be real. And as soon as I got that into my head, I settled in. And you get that out of your head that you're trying to be somebody else. I mean, I know it's a cliche. Is that the right
no,
word
it's
that people
not.
say?
Yeah,
be
but
yourself. I mean, it's
be yourself.
Corny. But be you. Be who you are.
Yeah.
That's great advice.
That was absolutely the best advice.
Yeah.
And I've just never forgot it. And it came from my brother.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just be you.
Yeah, that's all you need to do.
That's really cool. Cool. Because I see a lot at Auction College. Like when I work with some of these younger individuals that are just getting into this business, they're really trying to emulate or sound like somebody else.
Yeah.
And they've trained for hours to sound like another person. And even though you say, hey, don't do it, they still do it just because you can't ingrain it in them that, like, it's not going to work if you're trying to be somebody else. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a hard lesson to learn, too.
Oh, my gosh, it is. Because you listen to yourself in your own ear and you think, I don't sound very good. I want to sound like this person. And you try and try. But then your self-identity is lost. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Then you've lost it. Mm-hmm. That would be my answer.
That's very good.
That's a good answer.
That's a
good answer. One that resonated with me quite a bit when I was reading through this question and thinking about it is You are only in charge of your own happiness. And there was a time in my life where I was trying to make everybody happy and appease everybody. And I got to a point where it was just like, I can't fix some of these people in my life. I can't point them in the right direction. Mm-hmm. They have to find that for themselves. They have to be on their own journey. And that has always resonated with me. You're only in charge of your own happiness.
Yeah.
And I think that is pretty powerful for me.
Oh, boy.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
It sure is.
Yeah.
Was that by an auction person?
It was not by an auction person.
I know who it was by.
Do you know who it was by?
I remember when you were shared. That was recently, the last couple of years.
That's probably 10 years ago.
10?
Yeah, maybe probably a little more. When my wife and I started hanging out, I ran into somebody, and yeah, it was good. It was good. It was a good bit of advice. So, yeah, cool. Okay, here we go. Next question.
Stuff.
What is the most challenging thing you have ever had to do as an entertainer?
Oh, my. Ooh.
Challenging.
Most challenging thing you've ever had to do?
As an auctioneer / entertainer,
Mm-hmm.
I kind of look at that a little bit differently as just an entertainer or just an auctioneer. It's kind of both.
Right.
Which is kind of what the hybrid of our industry has turned into.
Mm-hmm.
We've had to get away from the thing and actually be funny and be witty.
Mm-hmm.
Some guys are more natural at that. For me, that was my very first show where I went in when there was 850 people in the room. And the very first time I ever did it. And I'm following an event the year before that did $1.5 million. And I feel like if I don't do at least that, then I'm a failure. Mm-hmm. And I could not get that out of my head.
Yeah.
Plus, it was the first time I was in a room of more than 300 people.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there about to be introduced, and I'm thinking, dude, you are in over your head. That's what was going through my head. You're in over your head. Oh, you're going to screw this up, right? I mean, whoa. But went out there, all that went away as soon as I did the practice auction. Then it was
good
over.
for you.
Yeah.
It was over. Then it was just laser focused on what's this going to bring, whatever. That for me was the most challenging. And that was probably 15 years ago, 13, 14 years ago.
Yeah.
Something like that. I'll never forget the night.
Oh man,
I was just
and the stress. That's one thing that we don't normally really get into here on this podcast. I mean, we should, but the stress that are involved in events is immense, and it's because there are so many different factors in terms of energy and asset being put into one night for everything to go as darn near to perfect as it can, that it causes a pressure cooker on the entire team. And the more people are in that pressure situation, the more stressful it becomes. And there's nothing like coming off a good night because you have all this pressure and then it's like, oh my gosh, we did it. We survived, right?
We made it.
We did it. We hit our goals. And it's
time for a cocktail.
I mean, it's not, it might not be the healthiest situation, you know what I mean? But that's show business. That's a little bit of entertainment in itself, you know?
It is.
How about you, Kelly? The most challenging thing you faced?
Well, because what I've tried to do, being Mark's partner out there as a ringman, is to also add entertainment to it, which comes very easy for me now. Mm-hmm. But my biggest challenge is every single auction happens to me. And it's not something I always want to communicate all the way with my husband when he's sending me somewhere or asking me a question or, you guys are on the mic and you're blah, 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 and then you're throwing a question to me in there. And if I don't hear it crisply,
right,
and he throws it again to me and I don't hear it crisply, which I'm out in the middle of 600 people. Right. He's on a mic with...
And the sound system is suspect too. You don't know how good that audio is.
And I've never shared this with him, but I am mortified, and it's very hard for me when I don't feel like I'm going to the right, and he'll give me the hand signals. It's one behind you. Well, behind me are spotlights. There's multiple tables. I turn around and I ask, and people are like, well, and
wasn't
so wasn't me.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
But because I understand what his situation is, if he is sending me, and it's not something we've pre-talked about, it's obviously important or it needs to happen. So that's my biggest challenge as a ringman slash entertainer. But I do probably go overboard on occasion. I do move my arms a lot because I've had people comment on how they love the animation of me ringing. And so I'm always running around. I'm always moving. I'm always going. I'm always doing. And but I'm always wanting to make the auctioneer, my husband, I want his night to go really well and really smooth. And so getting tossed those things, if I don't hear it clearly, I'm still trying to help him. It's hard.
It is hard.
It's very, very
it's
hard.
very difficult. And like I mentioned this some earlier, but as an auctioneer sitting up there with a microphone, you don't assume, but you hope people can hear you. You have to operate under the intent that you are being heard.
Mm-hmm.
And that is not always the case.
No.
And the audio changes from where a person with a microphone is standing to in the group, or the volumes can change. You think you're crystal clear because you can hear yourself, and then the person out there can't, or vice versa. Like I had a situation recently where I was selling an auction, and it was super muddy where I was, but out in the crowd it was super loud. So I'm thinking, you gotta turn me up because I can't hear myself. So then I'm hitting it too hard, right? 2,000, bam, 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 and it's you're overdriving at that point. So it's not an easy situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your answer was specifically not being able to hear what Mark is telling you.
Yeah, because I mean,
right in the middle of his chant.
Yeah, and I'm
right in the middle of his chant, he's going to ask you a question.
And
right.
we have
also it feels like being on the same. Sorry to interrupt, but being on the same page, right? Because you guys both want the same thing to occur, which is success. But when you have a breakdown in communication, because 'tis life, right? It gets very difficult.
Yeah, and it doesn't do you any good to blame it on the sound, right? Which is, early on I was like, I couldn't hear you. Well, now I know that, so I try to place myself in a position because I can normally see when he's going to do something like that for me.
Okay.
With me, but I'll get thrown off sometimes too. And he maybe had a conversation with somebody and either forgot to download with me about it, or I didn't ask the right question, or something along that line. But where he'll say table 8, and he'll go behind you, and I'm like, okay, table 8. What's at table 8?
Okay, now what?
Now what? I'm at 8.
I'm here.
What do you want me to do now?
And so, but
waiting for a bat signal. What do I do now?
But to the credit of the auctioneer, they have, he's got a lot that he's dealing with. What we do as a team is unique.
Well, it's one of one, and that's something that I was going to posit as well, is that you guys have a very good thing going because you are at each other's auction each and every time.
Yeah,
and Paul can speak to this, but like I don't have a lot of trust in my support guys sometimes. Like if I get a good one, I know that I can lean into them, but even then, all of the people that should know what I'm trying to do don't always know what I'm trying to do. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you try them on once, and if you try them on once and they don't respond the way you think, then all right, do it myself.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You won't do it. You won't do the same instruction the second time.
Yep.
It just takes one time.
Right.
But as an auctioneer, you have an obligation now because you saw that breakdown. Mm-hmm. You have an obligation afterwards to download with your ringman, regardless if you ever work with them or not. Again, download with them about this is what you were trying to do and this is why I needed you to do that. Yeah. So have your ringman help you.
That is a really good point, and that's something we should remember when we do have our
workshop.
When we have our workshop, those could be the really down to the detail idiosyncrasies that could really help forge better relationships between floor and stage.
That's a good idea. We should start a document for sure. Like to start. I'm serious. To like start adding ideas like that to discuss, because that's a really good topic.
It used to be.
And like you, after so much experience doing what you do, where Mark is going before he probably even knows he's going there at times, right? You can you can read the tea leaves.
And in fact, I go sometimes, and he's following me for the ride, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes I'm putting the deal together, and he's just following me and
Ooh,
bouncing
right.
off of me. Yeah. So
and that comes with decades.
and that comes
working
with
together.
Yeah.
If you have a night off and Mark's not working, you're coming with me to the next show.
I would love to do a show with
sure,
you.
for
Absolutely.
For sure. Okay, you ready? You ready for another question?
Yes.
Okay, it kind of relates to one that we asked earlier. What is your least favorite bit of advice that you've ever gotten?
Oh my goodness, dude.
What is
That's
your
a great
least
question.
favorite bit of advice? Somewhere you're like looking back and you're like, okay. I'll go first because I've had some time to sweat on these a little bit, right? I don't want to take your time. These questions are for you, but I've been chewing on this one a little bit, and I think that's why it's like my favorite question of the stack here is because like you hear a lot of advice from a lot of people, and in hindsight you're like, that was not good. Like that is not what I thought. So mine is fake it till you make it.
Ooh.
Fake it till you make it, I feel, has not served me well in this life. Like, I feel if I am not leaning into the point that I don't fully understand something, I then develop a sort of imposter syndrome, and I don't feel genuine to myself. Therefore, I'm sabotaging my self-confidence by rolling with, just fake it till you make it. You'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, right? That's an old adage. I mean, that has been around for a really long time. So that's something that I've had trouble with. Anything come to mind? Kelly, you look like you're near something.
Well, I am, but I don't know.
Do I say it here on camera in front of everybody?
If at first you don't succeed, try and try again. And then give up. Don't be a damn fool about it.
That's awesome, Ivan.
That is awesome. I think I have, I think I can take the high road on dang near anything, but I had one experience that it was my least favorite. That doesn't mean it wasn't
genuinely given.
Yeah. Or that doesn't mean it wasn't good advice, but it was my least favorite advice. I bumped heads with a famous movie star one time. And my husband, we didn't do the auction after that.
That's not the guy you want to upset.
We got fired. And he will not admit that it was me, but
we didn't get fired. We just got unhired.
We just got unhired. Haven't been back since.
Sounds better that way. Unhired.
Yeah, unhired. But it was take the high road. And I think that take the high road is a good bit of advice. However, I think you have to be very cautious on that high road because the high road also has some really, really deep, steep cliffs. So taking the high road, it can also hurt you sometimes. I mean, is it the right thing to do? 9 times out of 10 it is. But at this particular night, that little punk needed to hear that he was being a putz.
I know this story.
And I'm not going to mention names because we can't do
Yeah,
that. But let me just tell you, he was being a punk and he deserved it. And my husband...
Would I know this guy?
No. My husband thought I should have taken the high road on that. Well...
Was he less... Or was he more or less famous than Jack Hanna?
Way less famous.
Are you sure? Maybe I'm not thinking the same thing that you're...
Way less famous.
Okay, we'll discuss it later. I know who I think it is.
You know who you think it is?
Yeah.
And you think he's more famous than Jack Hanna?
Definitely.
I think he is too.
Not in my book.
Okay.
He is not famous
at
all.
Oh, you're jaded because he pissed you off. So
He didn't piss me off. He hurt somebody, so that pissed me off. So.
Okay.
Anyway.
Well, I'm going to kind of piggyback on what you said, though, that it was advice that you didn't agree with.
But it wasn't bad advice.
But it wasn't, it may not be bad advice.
Right.
It may not be. I have this, I'm gonna fall on the sword here. I have this nervous tick that I do when I'm wearing my tux. And it's, it feels like my damn pants are falling down and I'm always pulling them up like this. about midway through the show, I'm walking around in the audience selling an item. I walk by this lady on my way back to the stage. Stop pulling your pants.
Did she?
She said that to me. And I was like, oh my God.
Listen, lady, I'm gonna pull my pants
Oh,
on.
man.
Like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm the talent.
So-
I'm able to pull my
Kind of a-
pants.
That's funny.
Kind of a weird thing, but it's just like it's just. I hate it when my pants fall down or feel like
I would imagine.
when they feel like they're falling down, but they're not really.
Do you have suspenders?
No.
Oh,
I
you
probably
need
should.
suspenders.
Oh.
Game
That would fix it,
changer.
wouldn't it?
Oh, dude, I
Mark
love
just-
my suspenders.
Mark
Okay.
wears
And I
these
fought it for years.
shirt
Did you?
suspenders.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Mark,
cool.
yeah, when they showed up, I'm like, well, this has to be a misorder. I don't understand what these are. And then he puts it on. I'm like, well, those are super sexy.
Oh,
they,
dude,
connect,
stop.
they connect to his socks.
Oh, cool.
What?
There's suspenders, and it clips to his sock only when he wears his tux. Oh, maybe his suit too.
To hold his tuck shirt?
To
Yeah,
hold
that's brilliant.
it is,
Yeah.
and so it's like a V, and then one string, and it connects to your socks, and it clips onto your shirt, and your shirt stays tucked in.
I'll be darned.
I like that a lot. I might need
Never
to get me
seen
some
one
of
of
those.
those
Does he
before.
have the
They're very cool.
classic
Nope.
suspenders too? Oh,
Doesn't
man.
need them. Doesn't need them. You know, and I think part of that deal with your pants is that your shirt's all jacked up and your
Probably
pants-
is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it probably is. I haven't thought about that in a long time, but as soon as Shelby asked that question, it totally regurgitated. It's like, oh God, I know what I know how I'm going to answer this.
Mine came
She
right
was
off
right,
the bat.
but I didn't want to hear it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I stopped doing it.
Okay. Well done. Well done. Good job, guys. That's all the questions I have for today.
Perfect.
We did it. We did it.
did
Yes,
it.
that was
Good
cool.
work.
So hey, Shelby is going to be taking a little break and going
True.
to Thailand. So we're excited for him
Yep.
and hoping that he
Yes.
doesn't have volcanic eruptions
Everybody is-
anywhere in his
okay.
body
So
from the food he eats.
two
So
things are happening. I'm like, hey, I'm going to Thailand, and it's either why would you go there, which is pretty like more common, or it's the most beautiful trip ever. You're gonna have such a good time. You can't wait.
it will
So
be.
it'll be interesting. It'll
It will
be
be a
interesting to
great
get back
trip.
and be on the other side of it. Yeah.
It will be a great trip. I have no question.
Oh, that's going to be a podcast in itself, isn't
yes,
it?
it is.
I'll bring
Stories
videos.
from Thailand.
Yes.
I already got
Stories
the title.
from Thailand.
Stories from Thailand.
Can't wait.
We're gonna ride in tut-tuts.
Tut-tuts.
We're gonna go. Yeah, it's
Are
gonna be
those
weird.
the bike, the pedal ones?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I think go to pedal ones. So we'll
Cool.
see.
Oh,
We'll
that's
see.
awesome.
It's gonna be real weird.
Yeah,
I'm really excited.
That is really.
Yeah.
I'm excited for you.
So more to come on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys. We truly appreciate it. We will see you sometime soon. When you're seeing this, it's going to be July, and we're going to be getting through summer pretty quickly.
Yeah.
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 So
Yeah, thanks for joining us today. Appreciate you guys. We're just kind of going off in a couple different
Yeah.
this last couple of weeks with our curious inquiries. We thought was fun, and
Changing it up. Keeping
Yeah.
it fun.
so take care. Be good to yourself and people around you.
yeah, for sure. We appreciate you guys. Be well, and we'll see you on the other side.
Take the high road. See you guys.
Bye.